Welcome to the Yes Lady with CharlaA, your encouragement solutions for outrageous business. I'm excited to bring to you so many resources and mindset changes and bits and pieces of information that will change your bottom line as a business owner. Today I have my really special friend, Mary Margaret Davis, who has done an amazing turnaround for the downtown urban real estate in Fort Worth, Texas, and all over. I believe she's got some great tips for all of us to learn about the real estate market in primarily the urban and the new disruption of what's going on in the real estate market.
It's time to say yes to your future. Each week, CharlaA interviews business owners that are breaking the mold. Tune in each Thursday to discover how you can too. Here's your host, the Yes Lady herself, CharlaA.
Mary Margaret Davis, tell us a little bit about yourself and how we can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm Mary Margaret Davis. I moved to Fort Worth in 1988, and I worked for new home builders. And several years later, in 2006, I ended up in downtown Fort Worth, selling condominiums in the historic train terminal, Texas and Pacific Lofts. And from my professional new home sales expertise, I learned that there were ways to educate not only the consumer, but the real estate community, the suburban realtors, on how to sell the lifestyle of urban and how that was coming up and going to be a really good future opportunity for our entire region, Fort Worth, Dallas, and beyond. Other communities have already done this, and it was a new thing. We were stuck in the past in the 70s where urban was not safe, no one would be there after 5, all kinds of different things that came about in my learning curve. So I created a real estate class for realtors to take where they could be certified as an urban expert. And from all of this, people know that there's a lock and leave lifestyle. They might even be near the urban core and still be able to bike and walk. And I'll discuss further the disruption that's occurring right now. But I also teach the community as to what it's like to live a healthy, walkable lifestyle.
Well, we met because I ended up going into the Texas and Pacific Lofts, and you had truly been the forefront of getting that whole 1930s building completely renovated and all sold in like less than 3 years, right?
Yes,
That's where we met. And I lived there for 2 years, and the urban lifestyle, and you were writing that curriculum, I think, for realtors at that time, which I thought was amazing. That I was so proud for you, and then that has expanded. There's a lot I want people to know about what you do, but what I was so impressed with, 50 reviews on Zillow, all 5-star. That's impressive, folks. Where do you get 50 5-star reviews? In the real estate market. And I know my sister has been in real estate since the early 70s in a small town, and she has the win-win mentality. So how can we all win on all levels, and where there's no losers? And so in that, I know that about you.
Sure.
I know that that's who you are as well. And you've changed so many people's lives. And you say you want to put the aha into, how did she know this is so perfect for me? And or something like that on your website, that you truly have the gift of knowing and helping serve.
Well, thank you, Charla. Gift of discernment comes from lots of experience, and I'm a matchmaker. I put people with homes. I can sell homes. I can find some way to discern when a buyer tells me what they are looking for. I can teach them how to look for themselves, because you can't always be sending them things that they approve. They need to be able to look in addition to that, and they need to know how to work online and how to take the information they get from Zillow and how to take realtor.com or whatever and turn it into something that I can use and to bring everything to fruition beyond just matching people to the properties. But I ended up being a matchmaker of all things, you know, businesses to business, friends to friends.
Through your heart, because
yeah.
you have such a
Yeah.
heart to serve, and you found this gifting, and people are so drawn and attracted to you.
Yeah.
So how can we have, we're talking mostly to small business owners that are in the, you know, trying to just make their way through the business day, and they may not recognize these trends that are coming, and or had time to even recognize that there's some new trends coming in this real estate market, and all over. So tell us a little bit about that disruption.
Well, the disruption that you and I had referred to is actually, the last one was from cars to horses, and the next big disruption that is occurring right now is when it becomes 10 times cheaper to do it another way. And so as we're developing and we have retail and lifestyles, what will occur is that we will eventually, and sooner than we realize, not be driving our own vehicles. So when we're developing our space where our offices are going to be, or whether we're developing a commercial building, we need to be creating parking that can be converted into other spaces. For example, on the near south side of Fort Worth, there are 364 acres of parking that Tony Seba, who came and spoke here in Fort Worth, said that will be virtually vacant in the next 8 years because of all the people that will have other choices of transportation. And of course, I think that blows a lot of our minds. 8 years? The transformation from horses to cars took 8 years in the early 1800s. And so we're already seeing Uber, and I'm not sure, but right here in the DFW area, they're doing the unmanned vehicles and the flying unmanned vehicles. And I asked Mr. Seba, how do the farmers plan on doing this? He said they're already doing it. They have unmanned tractors as we speak. And so there are places where I think that this would be completely mind-blowing in Texas, but we'll be doing other ways of developing. They're developing buildings right now in Austin that have no parking. And so how are we going to shop? How are we going to store our things? How are we going to live a life where we will be renting a car to take us from one destination to another? I think it's just exciting and scary all at the same time. So during that disruption, we're going to have some shifts in things. And of course, you know, the car industry will shift and everyone will shift, but business owners will simply need to think about not worrying as much perhaps about how many parking spaces are going to be allowed, things such as that. And then we can also talk about how I help people with a program to learn how entrepreneurially to prepare themselves if they haven't purchased a home, how they might choose to do that.
That is fascinating to me, totally fascinating. We've got so many, I feel like this disruption is a key term I'm hearing everywhere right now, and that's changing our lives. It's changing everything. And right now we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the Yes Lady with CharlaA after these messages.
The American business economy is positioned as it has never been before. Professional videography is a core element for attracting a higher level of engagement with the people group you need for significant impact. Now is your time to shine. My name is Bill Brock, owner of White Rock Films, and I invite you to a powerful opportunity in the marketplace, an opportunity to draw excited people to your events, an opportunity to showcase your ideas on infrastructure, an opportunity to become known as the industry authority and enjoy the associated benefits of a strong, influential brand. Video highlights, video teaches. Video puts a resistant market at ease, and video stirs the hearts and imaginations of your allies and strategic client base. White Rock Films offers full audio, video production for businesses ready to embrace the future, handling your project with professionalism, experience, and polish unheard of in the industry. My name is Bill Brock, and White Rock Films wants your business. See us online at whiterockfilms.com.
We're back right now with the Yes Lady with CharlaA with Mary Margaret Davis. She has Mary Margaret Davis Real Estate Team, And we were just discussing this disruption that's going on in our community, and I've been hearing it so many places and so many times lately. And when you talk about not having to have parking places, there's a whole new way of life.
Yes.
And when our cars are now not going to be hitting other cars, so the collision industry is even going to be shifting. There's so many industries that are affected by this. And it's truly exciting. We've got opportunities, and with experts like Mary Margaret that can actually guide us through some of that. So for our businesses, what do you suggest that they start looking at as we move into this new phase of reality? Our reality is changing.
I would say education is a really big thing. I would get involved in learning about how the new disruption is going to occur and when. If you have a business that is solely related to individually owned vehicles, perhaps you should add some pieces to that would expand it further and help you shift during the complete disruption, which will be occurring. And then, think about how right now we're worried about crime in our suburban neighborhoods, for example, because everyone's storing in their garages and parking in the street, and how that will shift on how we secure our homes, how we secure our lives, and start thinking about getting on the Trinity Railway Express, going from Dallas to Fort Worth or Fort Worth to Dallas, and learn how to Uber, and just get into the thought of it. Because as we start developing new retail, commercial, residential space, we will start seeing, just like we see green products right now, we're going to start seeing perhaps not as many parking spaces as we're just desperate to have at the moment, or different ways that we can have groceries brought to our home rather than having it in our car. And so how that's all going to transform, learn about it. And I'll help you I'm working with people right now, realtors. It blows realtors' minds. How are they going to show property if they don't have a vehicle? So we'll see how it will transform even the real estate market.
So are you thinking that it's going to be on the lines of car sharing, where it's a community car, or it's just on-demand car?
Yes.
And transportation like that as needed,
Yes.
so you don't go to work and let it sit there all day in a
Right.
parking lot. In the day, it's being used in other ways.
Right.
It's a little bit Jetsons, we're taking at
And they're exploring unmanned vehicles that will be off the ground. It is the Jetsons in a sense, but just having a different
How much
shift.
have we wished for those,
I know.
right? All these years, I just want to
Yeah.
go over the traffic.
Sure. Well, and if you're at a downtown building and you didn't have to worry about parking because you left the car where it was, and when you get out of your meeting, you have an app on your phone and there's a vehicle right there, and you just simply call it, get in it, take it where you're going, leave it, and then move on. And so that is what's happening. The gentleman, Mr. Seba, who came and spoke at the Near South Side organization, he said he Ubers 30 minutes a day to Stanford, back and forth. And so he doesn't even own a vehicle, so he's walking the talk.
Wow.
It's just
And
amazing.
I'm not sure who he is. Do you mind describing who Mr.
Well,
Seba is?
Tony Seba is the one that created the next big disruption conversation. And so it's out there in the world now, and it's SEBA, Tony SEBA, so.
Wow.
Yes.
There's so many, I just know, or feels like the things are happening in a warp speed. You can hardly take a deep breath before the next thing is showing up.
Yes.
And I've got this saying, when intriguing opportunities present themselves and you say yes, things show up, and they do, and miracles show up. Now,
That is true.
I call you Miracle Mary Margaret, and I'm a clearing for miracles as well. So we've had a connection along that way. Well, you mentioned that you do coaching and speaking. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, in the real estate business, for example, you run across so many different things that end up being something that you feel like the world should know about. And of course, this disruption is one of them. I have gone to leaders in our community saying that we don't have people in our community that know about living the urban lifestyle, for example. And one of the things that happened was, from a conversation that we created a real estate course called Certified Urban Experts. So all of the developers and the urban focused realtors unanimously decided that we would educate the remainder of the realtor community. It's the only course in the United States where the urban-focused realtors care to educate the suburban realtors.
Wow.
And it's focused with Downtown Fort Worth Inc. in this case, and it also goes into the other urban cores, West 7th and the near South Side. And it's also co-sponsored by the Greater Fort Worth Association of Realtors. And so the coaching there is, where is the client coming from? Who is going to be moving into urban and why? And one of my future things that I'm so excited about is the aging in place. We're trying to think of a better name for it, where people that are from their 50s on can find a place to live that would be walkable, it would have nutrition, it would have even vendors for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's if someone in the family is going to have worse health or dementia. But with more proper eating habits and things, you can live healthily till you're 100 years old. So you need a place to do that would be safe for both the husband and wife or the extended family, and to actually have a place to be where they can age in place and stay. And so that product is out there in the world. It just doesn't happen to be very available because we've been allergic to density for so many years in Fort Worth that there is no zoning where you could have the flexibility to have density with where you'll get to have that sort of lifestyle that will be nutrition, fitness, all kinds of things that would support your mental improvement and physical abilities long into later life. And so I'm real excited about speaking that into reality.
I didn't know you were doing that.
Yes.
That's awesome. And anybody that knows me know that I'm a huge ambassador for Fort Worth, an advocate for Fort Worth, Texas.
Sure.
And it's the #1 downtown in our country, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And we have a mayor that rides bikes, rolling town halls.
Very active.
So I know Betsy Price is really behind all that.
Yes, Mayor Betsy is definitely. And to get that sort of healthy label is just an incredible thing. And we kind of follow the lead of the coasts on our health, but I just read the other day that our standard American diet is SAD, S-A-D, and that if we don't do something about it, we'll continue to have dementia in our 40s and 50s and have strokes and things way too early. So if we can create a walkable lifestyle and move forward into the possibility of urban living and walkability and bikeability, then I think we'll see a much healthier Texas.
I just am excited about all those things, and you've been really on the forefront of Fort Worth urban ever since I've known you, and you have a gift of just communicating that in a great way, and then you're in there in the trenches doing it, and you're in the showing everyone and teaching. So do you have any other coaching tips for these guys, or do you have anything for our awesome listeners?
Sure. I will say that if you're an entrepreneur and you're doing a small business, then one of the things when it comes to preparing yourself within the small business, the entrepreneurial part, is if you haven't established a first home, or if you're looking toward future homes now that your business is present, you need to connect with a good mortgage company straight off, because they will coach you with everything you need to do, to how you need to do your tax returns, how to show your earnings over a 2-year period of time, so you can get started now, so you can see the future of building to your second or third home, or starting at your very first home. I talk with entrepreneurs on an almost daily basis, and they're like, how do I do it? And they have to wait a year and a half sometimes to actually come to their goal, because of the fact that they haven't done the groundwork. And it's not that hard. You just need to be prepared in advance. Works along with your accounting and any kind of planning that you need to be doing. You should have that mortgage person in your group. And that real estate person in your group.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a team, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And you know some really good people to
you
refer.
Bet. Absolutely.
And I know I've met some of them, and I'm really excited that you've stepped into this. I love the idea of the urban walking. I think that's what I met you doing, and love being able to walk downtown Fort Worth and be safe.
Sure.
And be active and be fed. and
even the next big trend in urban, and it's already happening in other communities, is families. And so it's not just restricted to single people and couples. And so there's just whole opportunity for that as well.
Well, I'm really grateful to have you come out here, and it's always great to see you. We have such a heart connection.
Thank you.
And I know that your expertise is very, very valuable.
Thank you.
And would you mind saying your website and how people
Sure.
can get a hold of you?
Yes, Mary Margaret Davis Real Estate Team is www.mmdavis.com. And thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's been a great pleasure. This is the Yes Lady with CharlaA, your encouragement solutions for outrageous business. Looking forward to seeing you again next week. Blessings.
That's all for the Yes Lady with CharlaA today. The Yes Lady with CharlaA is produced by the OBBM Network and available on demand at offbeatbusinessmedia.com. The Yes Lady also airs each Thursday at 12 and 8 p.m. on OBBM Radio, available on iTunes and offbeatbusinessmedia.com. Download the Offbeat Business app to get the Yes Lady TV and podcast on demand. To be a guest on the Yes Lady, call 817-808-7703.